It's globally known that one of the best car manufacturers in the world is Ford. Ford is currently ranked as the second largest US-based automaker and the fifth largest in the world. Just like any other car company, they have produced quality vehicles from one generation to another. In today's video, we'll be talking about their soon-to-be-released Ford Ranchero. Comparing it to the success of the Maverick, we can only hope that the Ranchero won't let us down. The Ranchero lineup has been one of the classics from Ford since the 50s to the 70s, which is where the anticipation and excitement stems from. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be discussing the competition between the new Ford Ranchero and the Ford Maverick. With that, join us as we investigate how Ford brought back their classic Ranchero and where all the anticipation is coming from for their 2023 launch. Let's begin. Ford's trucks have long been recognized throughout the world. In fact, the Ford F-Series trucks have long held the top spot in terms of sales in the US. Ford has a history of innovating more with its trucks than any other automaker who tend to adhere to the basics. Both the Maverick and the F-150 Lightning exhibit this today. They are two distinct truck designs that are among the first of their sort in their industry. Ford's Ranchero line is one of the best examples of how they approach the truck industry differently. One of their vintage trucks was more streamlined and low to the ground than other pickup trucks of the era. The Ranchero was also not a specialty vehicle. Ford sold over 500,000 of this model over the duration of their existence. One of the key selling points of the Ranchero and this sector in general is their ability to combine truck-like utility with traditional sedan-like usability and drivability. From the 1957 model year through to the 1979 model year, the Ranchero was available. The Ranchero was powered by a number of engines during the course of its 7 generations. It used to have a 6-cylinder engine with a 65 horsepower output in its initial years. Over time, additional 6-cylinder engines and even some V8s were made available. The maximum power the V8 Rancheros could produce was 375 horsepower. Consumer preferences evolved during the Ranchero's production period, and Rancheros from the 70s era reflected this by having more of a muscle car attitude. This was most distinguished by shaker air scoops on the Ranchero's hoods and colorful side decals. Although the 2023 Ford Ranchero's official specifications haven't been released yet, reports suggest that it will be very similar to the Ford Maverick. It might have some of the same structure as the Ford Escape and Ford Bronco Sport. I don't know about you, but we can't get enough of it here already. So here's what we know. Its arrival is anticipated early next year. Like the recently announced Ford Maverick, the upcoming Ranchero will be small and compact, but it should have a sizable cabin. As mentioned, Ford produced the Ranchero coupe pickup until 1979. If reports are accurate, the new vehicle will have the same architecture as the current Ford Maverick. On the other hand, it appears that the chassis will be larger, and we anticipate that it will also be more robust. So before we move on to the most important part of this vehicle, which are the specs and features, let's discuss the first thing you should know: its release date and pricing. Early in 2023, the all-new 2023 Ford Ranchero is expected to arrive. The vehicle will incorporate many features from the Escape crossover and Maverick pickup. We think the asking price of $20,000 is reasonable. Ranchero, on the other hand, is probably only going to be sold in South America. Of course, we'll talk about the first thing that we see, and that is the exterior. We anticipate that the compact Maverick's appealing boxy form will carry over to this next generation. The new Ranchero might also share this model's build and design. The truck's dimensions will be changed as a result, and its ground clearance will drop to about 8.5 inches. In any event, we predict that it will ship with 17-inch wheels as standard, with larger wheels offered as a choice for the customer. The Ranchero, on the other hand, is rumored to feature a different front fascia and exterior colors. Followed by the interior design, the Ford Ranchero's cabin will incorporate several Ford Escape crossover features. As a result, we may expect a cabin that is both roomy and cutting-edge in terms of technology. Although we don't anticipate it to be as luxurious as the present Escape model, you can count on a functional cabin with enough room for 5 passengers. There is also an 8-inch touchscreen and fabric upholstery, which will both be included as standard equipment from Blue Oval. Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the Sync 4 system, and navigation will be featured as well. Surprisingly, the Ford Maverick XL base model has the same set of amenities. However, the trim levels and option packages that will be available are still unknown. The 2023 Ford Ranchero engine specifications have not been disclosed by the manufacturer. However, we believe that this model will ship with a 1.5-liter gasoline engine as standard equipment, with a 2.0-liter engine being provided as an option. Additionally, a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine and a 94-kilowatt battery are said to be available. For those who are unaware, the Ford Maverick, which generates 191 horsepower, is also powered by the same hybrid mechanism. Surprisingly, the Maverick is now the only pickup truck available with a basic hybrid drivetrain. As we mentioned, just 2 years later, when the old Ranchero was released, Chevrolet launched the El Camino. This was its main rival during that time. As opposed to the Ranchero, the El Camino became incredibly well-liked and well-known. It was marketed as a muscle car with a flatbed. It was a fantastic vehicle to own, and it still is. The El Camino production ceased in 1988, and it rapidly gained the reputation of a collector's vehicle. Of course, in the present, there wouldn't be any growth for the innovative minds of these manufacturing companies without competition. Toyota is one that pays careful attention to Ford's most recent home run releases. According to Bob Carter, Executive Vice President of Sales for Toyota Motors North America, one of the sectors we're looking at that won't be short-term is where the compact pickup truck is heading. You have a Santa Cruz and a Maverick on the market. In the present, the Hyundai Santa Cruz and the Ford Maverick both have more similarities as pickup trucks than cars. These two are what we anticipate to stand up against the 2023 Ranchero. But they do have some major differences. The Maverick's bed, which is 4.5 feet long and 4.5 feet wide from top to bottom, amplifies this and makes it useful for hauling. The Hyundai Santa Cruz bed is 4 feet long and 4.5 feet broad, but is narrowed to just 3.55 feet wide over the wheel wells. So anyone comparing the two with pickup capabilities in mind would surely choose the Maverick. The Ford Maverick and the Hyundai Santa Cruz may be too different from one another to compete. That is why the Maverick is crossed out on the list as a competitor for its own lineage. In this day and age, Jim Farley has been dedicated to transforming Ford from a company that has seen better days into one with an exciting modern feature. Therefore, it's likely that the Ford Ranchero and the Santa Cruz will end up as rivals. In the areas where they are superior, he intends to compete diligently, as this is expected when innovating widely known vehicles and improving them for the better to achieve customer satisfaction. The Ranchero left a legacy with its reputation in the previous years. However, since Ford stopped producing this model in 1979, it took them years and years to return to this classic. Reliving the vintage style of the Ranchero and upgrading the engine is definitely going to make current Ford owners happy. And I must say that this vehicle is worth the hype and we'll be expecting a lot from it. Do you believe that the Ranchero will achieve the success of the Maverick, or could it outperform? Leave your thoughts below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.